Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to my metal shop, or what my wife calls the garage. This short project, I'm going to be taking an inexpensive lumber rack that I bought from Amazon, which consists of these two components. There's two vertical bars like this, and then a number of horizontals. These are the ones that come out to hold the lumber, or in this case, since this is my metal shop, I'm going to be putting metal up here. So the hardware is fairly straightforward. The instructions are pretty straightforward, but I'm going to take you through step by step, show you how to do it. I'm not going to use the crappy little screws that were provided with it, and I'll show you what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to be putting some metal on here, which is pretty heavy. It's going to be sitting over top of a vehicle. I really don't want steel falling onto my vehicle. I think that would be bad. My boss might agree. So let's not do that. Let's make sure this thing is secured very, very well. I'm not going to use drywall anchors. We're going to go behind here. We're going to find the studs. So the first step is to figure out the spacing, the height, find the studs. I'm going to walk through sort of the layout of locating the holes, pre-drilling them, and then I'm going to put in big, heavy-duty quarter-inch lag screws. So please follow along. Hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching. First, I measure for the height. I went with 6 feet for the bottom to accommodate not only our current car, but potential future ones. With the height established, now I'm going to find the studs using a stud finder and then pick the spacing and locations based on what that looks like. Next, I mark for the locations for the lag screws. I do this by leveling the vertical bar with the bottom, where the bottom will go, knowing where that first stud is. And then I use a quarter-inch drill bit, put it in there and tap on it, and that creates a mark at each of the locations that I'll later come back and pre-drill for the screws. I use a level to mark the height of the bottom screw, referencing off of the bottom screw on the right. I then mark this by tapping a quarter-inch drill bit, and then that's the reference for moving up with the second bar, establishing that at the bottom, and then working my way up. What size bit do you use to pre-drill for a wood screw? Well, here's a trick. Take the bit you think, put it behind the screw, and if it just disappears and you see just the threads, that's probably the right one. So with that bit in hand, I'm now pre-drilling for each of those into the studs. Assembly of the rack starts by putting these little screws into the little tiny holes on the vertical bar. The horizontals have two sides, one with a little notch here that settles into the screw and one without. So you just slide it over the bar such that the screw head settles into that little notch. Then that same process gets repeated a bunch of times. Don't worry, the little screw's not actually holding the weight of what's on the bars. Rather, it is the rotation of the bars through the parallelogram hole that's supported by the center beam structure. Once you've done one set, you can go much faster on the second. So here's one of the screws and the drywall anchors that came with the kit. It's quite likely that that was strong enough, but I feel a hell of a lot better using this big quarter-inch lag right into the stud, wouldn't you? The kit also comes with these plastic spacers that go behind the bar, And this is what that looks like. It's got little tabs on the side, so it only goes on one way. The screw goes in from the front. And with this choice of screw, I'll have almost 3 inches of thread into the stud. So I'm going to put these in sequentially, just part way at first, just for location's sake. And once the third screw is located, I'll drive them all home so that they're snug. So do you think that'll be strong enough?
Yeah.
So with the rack finished and well secured, I'm going to move my metal materials up on there and up out of the way. And finally, I add a couple of wooden shelves on the bottom to support pieces that are too small to fit between the support members.